Aibwan, Wanakkam, Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon to everyone. Apologize for little technical issues. Hopefully we are good to go. And today we are here to speak about skills in tourism and entrepreneurship. Like, when you come to skills development, we know entrepreneurship is very, very critical, and we need to discuss at the current scenario how to develop skilled entrepreneurs in the tourism sector, right? As you all know, that country is going through a turmoil. Country tourism is going through some kind of bad cloud. But of course, people like me and Mr. Nilan and maybe everyone in the industry knows we are very resilient and we are very, very proactive, and we have been managing the crisis and we have been coming out of the crisis very well. I'm sure this is what we have to teach the younger entrepreneurs who are coming from the education system through the vocational streams and from the youth. Right, so we are targeting this for this discussion is all about how the youth or skilled entrepreneurs are going to come forward and how to prepare them, and we will try to manage to bring out some of the expertise of the learned panel here, and also how he has come out of it and how he has faced it. And I'm sure the person that we have here started his career while the turmoil was happening in 1983, and he would have seen with us as for the industry experts that he have not only survived, and he has prospered, and he has steered through his ship or the entrepreneurship in his own way, and he has managed to put up his own enterprise, and he's here to answer any question even in Sinhala or in English. So balangin ඔබ සැමට මම කියන්නේ ඔබගේ ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් මිස් නිලංගේ අහන්න. ඔහු සංචාරක ව්‍යාපාරයේ නිපුණතා ප්‍රවර්ධනය කරගනිමින් අවුරුදු ගානක experience අවුරුදු ගානක මේ experience එකත් එක්ක ඔහු මේ සංචාරක ව්‍යාපාරේ නිලයෙන් සිටිනවා. ඒ නිසා ඔබගේ ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් අපිට යොමු කරන්න සිංහලෙන් ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් ඕන භාෂාවකින්. So going back to on behalf of everyone here who are gathered here, I warmly welcome Mr. Nilan Wickramasinghe. So give me, instead of me introducing yourself, please let us know who you are.
Good afternoon to everyone, and thank you, Doctor, for this invitation. Today I represent TISC, Tourism Council of Skill Development Ministry, and from the private sector institutions. I represent Slido as well, and I run my own company called Lion Royal Tourism and Hospitality. There I am. My name is Nilan Wickramasinghe.
Yeah. So, Mr. Nilan, you as we discussed before the beginning, you told us that your career started while somewhat like Aragala time in 1983, and then you have gone through this turmoil, and now you're facing another junction. So, what do you tell the youth that who is watching us, who are willing to come for the tourism industry as entrepreneur, and also who are already there, who is struggling with us in the industry, basically who are already as an entrepreneur at the moment? What do you suggest, sir? What is the advice that you can give them?
Yeah, when you think about the context of the problem today, it is very much similar to 83, because when I started my career in tourism, actually before that I was working as an accounts clerk in a garage. And then I had the opportunity to join a travel agency, very small one in Colombo 3, Walukarama, as an accountant assistant. And there we were a very small staff, and we had to do at the same time tour programs and things like that. And when they saw the skills that I had in programming tours, logistics and organizing a tour, they wanted me to work in the tour section rather than working in the account section. So I see, I can very much compare the today's scenario with 83, because tourism was actually down to earth at that time also. So I started my career with the smoke walking through the smoke in Colombo roads.
Yeah.
I can still remember the time I drove all the staff, most of them were Tamil and Muslims. Some people were afraid to drive a car and take them home. I took everyone home and I walked up to Kalaniya by foot. So at that time, I had to work in this company for 6 months without a salary. So I didn't think about the salary, but I keep on working. And then I joined, there was a exam conducted by, program conducted by actually then Tourism Board and Colombo University to form guide lecturers. So I did the guide lecturers course and I became a national tour guide. But with the other experience that I had in, you know, when you work in a garage, you get a lot of experience in accounting, banking, insurance and things like that. You can keep that apart. And when you make tour programs and interacting with tourists and communicating with them, you learn a hell of a lot how to communicate with the client.
Yeah.
And how you should do the service.
So basically, if I ask you, entrepreneurs in the tourism sector, are they born or made, Nilan?
Some scholars suggest that entrepreneurs are born. Some say some are made. The thing is, if you are making an entrepreneur, there is a saying of one of the African professor. He says, institution keep on making entrepreneurs, but not the entrepreneurship. Instead of giving entrepreneurship diplomas or degrees, you should make entrepreneurs and make entrepreneurship.
Skilled entrepreneurs.
Skilled entrepreneurs. And also, having an MBA or being an thing is not enough. You have to being an MBA.
Yeah.
Being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's true.
Learning is not enough.
Yeah, that's true.
So then you put any skill. If you take mechanics, if you take electricians, if you take plumbers, if you take gardeners, if you take air condition technician, in every thing that you learn today as a skill, you can be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs always think differently. You are not just an employee. Being an employee, you can be an entrepreneur also in the same company, what we call intrapreneurship. So there can be, like I did, while working in a travel agency as a account assistant, I did tour programs and I saw the opportunities at which market we should sell and at which rate.
Yeah.
So that is in you. So entrepreneurship mentality will always think differently and see the next opportunity and how to react on opportunity and make a profit out of it.
Yeah. So you just mentioned intrapreneurship. So how, like, you know, if someone asks you from the audience, what are the the present employed in a company that they should be looking at to become entrepreneur inside the office? Now you mentioned that you learn from it. So can you explain a little further on that so that you can?
So if you go by the book or by practically, an entrepreneur, let's say someone who is starting from scratch. If you are a welder, you want to open your small company or your workshop, and you may not have money. So you will somehow get some other people, skilled people, get together. You sacrifice your skills for a small period and you start a business. So this workshop can enlarge, can be widened, and we'll have more people working, let's say 50, 25. And among that, you have a leadership and you will have team leaders. And in your employment, you can see guys who think differently. You come and say, sir, we are always using only iron. But can't we mix iron with wood and give a different look? And why are we selling? Why don't we do this? Why can't we go for the mass market? Otherwise, why can't we find a niche? Why can't we make things for big houses at a better price? So that is the entrepreneurship mentality.
Yeah.
An entrepreneur also has, because of his entrepreneurship quality and entrepreneur, he has started a workshop. But there he get a guy who is encouraging him to do it differently. So that is basically an entrepreneurship. But the thing is, that mentality, when you, it can go either way. That person can be helpful for the company. Otherwise, he can be a breaker and go and start
Become
another
competitor.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in doing that, all the entrepreneurs are not entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Because entrepreneurship has a lot of sacrifice to make, a lot of things to administrate, and to, and have a fair knowledge of finances as well.
Okay, so there's a social issue in Sri Lanka. Like the youth wants to do a quick buck, like they want to take a quick way out, right? So looking at with my experience, I'm sure that I know that it is not a good thing. But how do you personally differentiate? How do you suggest for the youth who are in the industry to look at the long term in the tourism sector?
Tourism is, as I always see, is the most sensitive business in the world.
Yeah.
You have to have a lot of patience. You have to be a symbol of patience. I think almost all our colleagues who are into it, who are hanging on to tourism, have immense patience. And tourism is not just a business, it's a passion. If you don't have this passion, so there is a saying also, when you have a passion in doing something, being a guide like me, I was a tour guide. I was a passionate tour guide. And then my passion, I converted into a business. So I am a passionate entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So this is the key word that we have to use, especially in tourism.
So you mean passion is also a very important skill?
Is passion, I can see, you can see it as a skill or a competency.
Okay. Okay.
Because competencies and skills are very much needed to run an enterprise in proper way. Those are the things that count for the success, to achieve your goals and make a profit.
Yeah. Nilan, I just want to give another question, another paradigm shift on this. So people always say entrepreneurs are like, self-starters, innovators. We can talk theory, right? When you come to practicality, everyone has told me to become innovators, to be self-starters. But how do I do it in the tourism industry? Can you explain on that for your experience?
Tourism industry, if you see properly now,
looking at the gaps and
now if you see in the tourism economy as an industry, we have a tourism economy. This economy is very large in Sri Lanka. At least 3 to 3.5 million people are involved in this. So we get people of many walk of lives, many professions, and many things, like it can be a fisherman or fishmonger, it can be a batik factory or batik vendor, it can be a craftsman and handicraft shop, you can be a gem cutter and you can have a gem shop, and then you can be a travel agent, or today the real term is destination management company. And then you can be a chauffeur guide, you can be a tour guide, national level or regional level, and then you can be anything in tourism. But main thing is, what we need is the professions in what you do. If you are a guide, you have to be a professional guide. Let's say I used to be a French guide. I had a library to learn things in French. Guiding is a subject that you have to learn at least 25 to 30 subjects. Today you can't fool. When we started, there were only guide books. We would have told anything and satisfy the guest. Today, if a guest asks you showing a kingfisher, what is this? You have to say the proper word. If you're talking in terms of botanical terms, zoological term, you have to give the
scientific technology.
Scientific technological names. And if you talk about architecture, you have to know the terminology of architecture, ancient architecture, geography, whatever. And then you should be able to translate into the language you speak. If you know things in Sinhalese and if you want to direct translate into French or Germany, sometimes it's not going to work. That is one thing. You should know the culture, religions and everything. So you need the professionalism. If you are a baker in tourism, let's say in a hotel, if you are a pastry chef, you should know everything about pastries, how to make a nice croissant. So with the skill development, you are not just a baker in tourism. You have to learn, you have to be a professional baker. Then you will know how to make a pastry, how to make a croissant or Danish pastry, how to make different kind of bread. It's not just breads, and then cakes, desserts, and given the time, you should be able to explain it to your guests also. Likewise, if you take housekeeping, if you take food and beverage, if you take reception, front office, the whole area.
Yeah, listening to Mr. Nilan, I realized that tourism is not only hospitality or tourism or hotel or a travel agent. It is a wide, as he mentioned, the batik and the farmers, everyone. So if you put everything together, tourism is a big economy. Like it goes as an economy. So being if you are looking for entrepreneurship in the tourism sector, you don't have to stick to this one or two. You don't have to be a baker, you don't have to be a chef, you don't have to be a hotelier. There are so much of wider selection to choose, right? So basically that is what the destination or the country is asking you from. The youth have to get ready looking at the wider picture. So Ms. Nilan mentioned the bakery, the farmer, the tourism, hotel industry, and there are a lot that we have not mentioned here, but there are so many sectors. It could be gem and jewelry, it could be so many. So tourism is a economy overall. The countries look at tourism as a main income for the country. That is because not only the hoteliers or travel agents or the key stakeholders are earning or been partnering with that, but in general, everyone in the country, basically we are talking about indirectly 3 million to 4 million or maybe 5 million, right? Indirectly are involved with the tourism sector, right? So moving on to a different aspect, how do you start? How can you explain to the younger audience or the audience who's going to see us how you become entrepreneur in the tourism sector? How did you start your company? Because there are people are worried about the money, people are worried about what is your capital, how did you start the business that you are in?
Tourism is one thing. You can open or you can start without much money.
Capital, yeah.
Much capital.
Yeah, exactly.
If you are professional enough, if you are skilled enough, let's say now more than today, in future, if you take the hotel sector will need to outsource a lot of people, especially in terms of mechanics, in terms of electric, how do you say, engineering support, and other areas as well, because employment is not going to be that easy. So if you learn your skills in these lines, like it can be air conditioning, electrical, whatever the of that area. So what you should do is you have to be a professional in that. If you take some foreign countries, let's say if you take a plumber, he has his own vehicle. He is knowledgeable. He can tell the person who is taking his services, this is the way you should do, this is how it should be, and maybe he can hire a few people whom he knows, maybe the similar category. They can work as a team and they can give a good service. especially now because for a hotel it will be much easy to outsource it than having their own people, maintenance people inside. Because if you need, let's say, about a hotel with 50 rooms, you will have to have at least 10 guys for maintenance.
That's true.
But someone who has learned about maintenance, let's say I am good in plumbing, other one is electrical, other one is AC. So 3 of us have 3 competencies and skills. So we can make use of it, use it as the capital.
Yeah.
So then you have to sacrifice a little, you have to be honest.
Yeah.
And then today you don't have to buy tools.
Yeah.
You can rent those things.
Yeah.
You can rent a vehicle and go there, do your job.
Just to start.
That's a startup.
Yeah.
And then little by little you expand the horizons and have your discipline. Be honest among you guys with your partners. And have a good financial discipline.
Yeah. That was fantastic actually. Like, the guys who are looking for investment, going for the money to start a business, here is the answer. Make sure that you have a skill and you have the passion and you have the real partnership. Here you are. Your capital is sorted, right? From there onwards, as he said, commitment, honesty, and creativity, and all those things will make you a pathway. I'm sure that he agrees with me that pathway is going to be not straight. As you said, you have to make your own pathway and go to your own vision and mission, right? So that is the one cardinal question that people ask: how do I start without money? How do I start business without seed money? So how bank is not going to give me money for, like, bank is not willing to give me money. So here is the answer: skill is your money. Skill is your investment. This is going to be the capital, right? So, and also some partnership, network, and move on. Moving into another arena, like, if you look at the Las Vegas, if you look at the Dubai, if you look at the China, whatever destination that we are talking about internationally, do you think Sri Lanka will fit in one day on that level? Not by numbers, but at least tourism aspect, tourism satisfaction wise. Are we there, or are we? When do you think that you predict that tourism will reach, Sri Lanka tourism will reach there?
If you take those countries, like I think France is getting more clients even today than USA and other countries. But in Sri Lanka, way of tourism, actually, our tourism is based on nature, adventure, and also culture. So very much close to ecotourism, and through that we have to empower the mankind, and so that's how you look at the sustainability as well.
Okay, Nilan, if I ask this question on behalf of the youth, I mean, youth is now looking for challenges. We are asking us, what have you done? What have you done? Like, that is what is like, stepping from the younger generation in our society. What will be your challenge for them?
Yeah, so
if I tell you to guide you on the question, right? What is the challenge that you're going to give the youth? Okay, this is what we have built, and where can you take the country tourism to this level? What is the target?
Yeah, you mean, yes, right. So then what I was telling was, now this is what we have been practicing. So similar to eco-tourism, not totally, but our base is culture, adventure, and nature, those kind of things. So we have to keep that momentum going. Yeah. So that is the core business in Sri Lanka, and related to religions as well.
Exactly.
The Buddhist culture and everything. So, but there we lack certain things. If you take especially countries like Dubai and Singapore, what I see as the good examples, where you have some man-made activities. In Sri Lanka, we lack that. I think there are going to be a project coming in Hambantota. I don't know whether it has been signed yet. Though we have a product for a certain age, people who are traveling with kids, we don't have much. Other than our elephant safaris and zoological gardens, we don't have children parks. We don't have amusement parks, and kind of Disney, man-made adventure. So that is one area that we have to look into, without harming what we are doing. And also we have a huge potential which we have not yet explored enough, which is MICE tourism. I think coming development in Colombo, Port City and other sectors, there will be huge demand for MICE tourism as well, and for like exhibitions. If you take Dubai, number of people who are going to Dubai for exhibitions are tremendous, and they keep on advertising. I went 1 or 2 fairs, but still I am getting the invitations. And that country has a leadership who think more about tourism because they don't have any other things to do. Places like France, they already have heritage like us. They have on the other way these amusement parks as well.
Yeah.
But I have fear if we don't manage it well.
Yeah.
It is not bringing the numbers and earning money. But if we go to a situation where the country is going to be over-touristic, over-tourism do a lot of bad things into more harm to a culture than bringing in money. So we have to develop carefully, and you know, this is a place, Sri Lanka is made for tourism. This is made for tourism with our nature, with our people with a smile, the hospitable nature of our people. People all over the world can work like fools, work like dogs, but if they want to come and relax, Sri Lanka is the best place. So we have that competence in this country. So we need more people in this business to think about tourism and you know, have a good livelihood with that.
So you mean to say that we must not copy another destination, but to build what we have and evolve through the nature and the Buddhism and what we have, not rather bringing something from and like, you know, copy paste into our destination. And also the youth, your challenge is to create, not to look at the, like, you know, the global scenario and bring that aspect into Sri Lanka, but to see those experiences and create our own experience. Because I think the next question is going to be that question from to Nilan, is that because the countries are developed by the entrepreneurs, right? So if you look at the India, China or America, they have been founded by or the economy is run by the entrepreneurs, right? So it is up to the youth to decide how you go to run this country, and not the political view, right? Not the maybe the policy level will come, but you need to lead, you need to create, right? So if you look at Nilan, people in Alla, people in Hekkadua, like traditionally, like if you look at from a ground level, the youth has the one, like if you look at even Arugambe, right? The youth has developed, maybe without the skill, maybe without the education about tourism, from their skills, from surfing board to the, like, you know, the coral fishing to all those things, they themselves have created this passion, and now we have a product, right? So do you think that you can talk about a little bit about their strengths, so youth also can take it up from there?
What I can you know, advise or tell the youth, so only thing is now, what is sad in this country is people are still trying to earn a degree to be a doctor or something. And we don't think about the skills, what we can do and how you can build yourself with your skills. See the amount of labor hours that we are wasting in three-wheelers. See the amount of government service that we have, I'm sorry to say. So if you take the three-wheelers and the government servant in this country, it is basically, what's the percentage? It's more than, it's about more than 20% of the total population together. More than 20%. 20%.
1.2 million of three-wheelers are in the market, and 1.7 million of government servants are in
Sri Lanka. So this is the time you should think differently. I am not blaming who are willing to enter into the government service and running three-wheelers, because these are easy jobs. If you can find a job in the government sector easily, so you know that you are getting your pension, and that's the end you are stagnating as a clerk or whatever. And you are in, you think sometimes coming into tourism or starting something, there is there is a how do you say there is a problem or there's a challenge to take. We have to check challenges in our lives. People who have taken challenges and who have challenged the life have come into the pinnacles.
Exactly.
These things are not coming, you know, on silver trays.
So I think that's open up another question that I always believe in. I don't know. Like, you know, that's something that we all come with. Like psychology, there is something called I don't know. Right? Sometimes it is been told I don't know is good, right? But if you say I don't want to know, is the problem comes.
Definitely.
Right?
Yes.
I don't know means that you are willing to learn. You are like, you know, you are wanting to learn, and you will seek to learn. Right? So guys who are the advice that we can give you from the panel is, I mean, don't get into I don't want to know, right? So say I don't know, so that you can build the tourism enterprise or tourism entrepreneurship through the skills by knowing I don't know, so that you will get to know, right? So going back to, I just want to know, with the time that we are struggling, in short, how to start a business in your point of view. You mentioned about the capital, but in general now you find it, you are a guide. Then you start a tourism company, a travel agent company. Then you moved on to hotel. Now you are one of the leading catering, like, you know, having restaurants, and now you have other businesses. So what do you think? How do you move to one to another?
So when you start a business, somehow, let's say, the easiest thing, like you start making hoppers. So when you make hoppers and you want to earn your life with hoppers, so then you know what kind of flour you have to use and gas and everything you have. Maybe you have a 2-burner cooker. So when the people are more, 2-burner cooker is not going to be enough. You will have to 4 burners. And then maybe you can be competitive. You can sell at a lower price. You don't have to sell the same hopper that the other person is. Maybe we have bulls, that egg hopper. Egg hopper is both sides sometimes. Why don't you try to make an omelette hopper and make a difference?
Colorful hoppers.
Colorful hoppers, and because you get the moringa flour and everything, right? So that is one thing. So in whatever you do, you should be able to see the future, and be conscious of what you are doing, and then always think of expanding. It's like, let's say you tend to sell 100 hoppers today, you may earn about let's say 2,000 rupees. From that 2,000 rupees, if you spend it spend 1,000 rupees for drinks and 1,000 rupees for home, then your business is not moving. If you are earning and saving 1,000, tomorrow you should try to save 3,000. And then you have to slowly develop your horizon, get more people, and give a nice katta sambal, and make it expand your market, doing different way. And maybe your hopper stand can be a small hopper boutique.
As you said, I mean, you can do a catering hoppers. Right?
Catering hoppers. So that's how you start up. You start from the scratch without much things. But in days to come, so you can expand it. But only thing is, you have to be honest with your customers, honest with yourself, honest with the work you do.
I think taking a clue from that, doing simple things but not doing the easy things. Like if you start doing easy things, it's enough for me. That I earn 2,000, I go and spend that money, and that's it. You start again in the morning. So sorry to disrespect. It's not disrespect. That is what we call in management also. That's called Nata means Fort Peta Nata means lifestyle. He finish everything. He comes back empty hand. But that is not the entrepreneurship. Am I right?
Yeah.
So you take simple decision. If you, as you said, it doesn't make a rocket science to change the color of hopper, right? It doesn't mean the rocket science to change the egg hopper to become omelette hopper, right? Or to start catering. Those are very simple, right? So it's about entrepreneurship who is making simple decisions to go forward. Am I right, Nilan? Okay.
I will give us Are we going to wind up now?
No, we can go up to another 10 minutes.
Right. I can give you a very good example. In my hotel in Segiria, I had a trainee pastry boy. He's doing marvelous fish bun, rolls and everything. And I had to send him home because I couldn't support paying salaries and everything because we had to curtail the staff. And to Colombo, I needed a person to do some small pastries. I got this fellow to come. He gave me another friend. He didn't know me. I have not seen him because I don't go very frequently to the hotel. This fellow came and said, Malli Vada, oh sir, man tamai. ඊට පස්සේ I won't say use the same word, so I tell it in Sinhala. ඊට පස්සේ මම ගාවා ඔයා කොච්චර කාලෙ හිටියද? සීගිරියේ හිටියස මාස 6ක් ඉගෙන ගත්තා. ඔයාලට පුළුවන් ද හොඳට සීනි සම්බෝල පාන් හදන්න? පුළුවන් සර්. සීනි සම්බෝල වලට අපි වෙන මොනවා හරි දාමුද? සර් එහෙම හදන්නේ නැහනේ. මං කෝ අපි හාල් මැස්සෝ දාලා හැදුවොත්. අපි දැම්ම දානවා හාල් මැස්සෝ පාන්. දැන් සීනි සම්බෝල ෆේමස්. කට්ටිය ආසයි හාල් මැස්සෝ රහ තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ දැන් මේ කතා කරන දෙවෙනි තුන්වෙනි දවසේ දැන් යාළුවා වගේ දැන් මගේ. ඇවිල්ලා ළඟට කතා කරනවා. පොඩිනේ මමත් කතා කරන් දෙනවා. ඔය සර් ගතියක් නැහැ. ඊට පස්සේ මට කියනවා සර් මම කවදා හරි ලොකු වෙලා රෙස්ටොරන්ට් එකක් දාන්න ඕනේ. මං කෝ නියමයි. ඔයා හැබැයි බේකරි පාන් විතරක් පුච්චලා ඒක බෑ. ඔයා ඉන්න ගමන් කුක්ලා එක වැඩ කරන්න. ඉගෙන ගන්න ඒගොල්ලෝ කරන හැටි. රෙසිපීස් ඉගෙන ගන්න. එතකොට ඔයාට වැඩ ගන්න ඔයා වැඩක් ඉගෙනගෙන තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ දැන් මෙයා හරි සන්තෝෂයි. එයා ඉගෙන ගන්නවා. ඊට පස්සේ මිනිහා පොඩි එක්ස්පෙරිමන්ට් කරනවා. මම දීලා තියෙන්නේ වැඩ කරන අයට ඕන දෙයක් කරන්න කරලා ඉනෝවේටිව් වෙන්න. එතකොට ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ඉනෝවේෂන් එක ඒගොල්ලන් හොයා ගැනීම මේකක් වෙනවා. මම අද කියනවා බය නැතුව මිනිහා තව අවුරුදු 5ක් හරියට ගියොත් ලංකාවේ තියෙන ලොකුම චොක්ලට් ෆැක්ටරි ඕන වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මිනිහා ඊයේ හැදුවා චොක්ලට් එකක් වැරදිලා. මං කෝ හරියට රෙසිපි එක ගන්න. වැරදින හොඳයි. ප්‍රංශේ තියෙන හොඳම චොක්ලට් එක රහ එකේ තියෙනවා. අන්න එතන තමයි skill එක ආසාව passion එක that he'll be a very good entrepreneur. Maybe I might have to work for him. Who knows?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's life.
As long as we don't know what's our life is going to be, but we are willing to. I mean, that's what we say. We are willing to help. We are willing to learn from the young youth, young generation, and we are learning. Even that's the main thing about entrepreneurship. Like you can't stop learning. You can't say I know everything, right? That is more of an academic guy. I mean, being academic, I know that's like when you get a degree, you are done with that, right? But being entrepreneurship is not that. You have to learn what is happening. You have to be updated, right? It's simply because you are not building something for you, right? In a summary, you would say you build a life that you can live and others to live on, right? Because as he said, he's working with Nilan, he's creating Sin Sambol, he's gone to the Halmaso varieties and penetration, but he predicts he will become a factory owner. Right, Mr. Nilan is now employing, like he started with his own self. Now he's employing almost 400 employees directly.
That's during the 2019. Now we had to cut down. Yeah.
But in a normal time, he has been employed. There will be people reporting to him, around 400 people. So what the entrepreneurship means is you are not building something for yourself. That means probably you are not a what you call sole proprietorship kind of enterprises.
It's creating wealth and employment.
You are creating wealth for yourself, but back of your mind, you are creating wealth for maybe immediately for the family, but then for like a better enlarged version of your family. Like if you say employees are your families, right? So if you say Nilan or other people, their families, 400 people working from morning till evening for same objective and mission. That is the entrepreneurship, and that is the skill that you need to develop. Finally, because I think time is running up. How do you differentiate you? I think that is very important for the Sri Lankan context. I think we discussed before also. How do you differentiate you and the company? How do you put a wall against not becoming one person?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I consider business is not me. I am a different person. Business is another person. So I am working for my business.
Yes.
So I have to be the most honest employee of Lion Royal organization.
The managing director for Lion Royal.
Yeah, but I have to be the lowest,
Okay.
because if a guest coming into my hotel,
Yeah.
and if I see there is no baggage boy or bellboy to carry the bag, I'm still ready to do it.
Do it, yeah.
So that is what all about entrepreneurship, and being you and being your business. Business has, maybe I belong to another culture, but I have developed another culture in my business. And a business has its own soul. I may have a different soul, but business has its own soul. But I have to work hard to keep that soul going.
Okay. Looking at the camera, looking at the eyes of the youth, right? What does it mean for the person who's looking at us? The young guys, especially young guys, and when I say young, that doesn't mean there's no age, because Colonel who started the KFC started at the age of 68.
68.
I'm talking to a burning desire, who has a burning desire, a person who has a burning desire to become entrepreneur. I don't care about the age. I don't think we consider ourselves very, very old or very, very youthful. But Nilan, looking at the camera and looking at the person who is watching us, what do you say? What does it mean to become entrepreneur?
It's a tough question, and it's very difficult to answer in 2-3 words. But entrepreneurs are sometimes born, but you have to have a talent to be an entrepreneur. You can't call yourself entrepreneur if you are not skilled enough, at least to manage people. And you should always see the silver line in the dark clouds, and means opportunity. In every moment you can see opportunity. That is the entrepreneurial sense that I call. And then I think best thing to be an entrepreneur is to learn skills. Learn. In whatever the stream. Can be woodwork, it can be mechanism, it can be electrical, it can be gardening, it can be anything. Even a guide, even a chauffeur guide, whatever you are. And then be honest to your workplace, be honest with your people, and think differently. People who think differently and take challenges will always flourish. When I started my career in a small garage, I never thought to be a managing director of a company. And my education was limited to A-levels. I did my thing in commerce stream. But I was always trying to employ graduates and help them for the education, because I still value the education a lot. When I became an entrepreneur and came to a certain standard of life, and I have been invited for so many boards and so many posts and things like that. I have served in the skill ministry as main board director once in 15-16. And there I found that, okay, I have certain experience, and I have come this way. When I look back, I found myself as a person who has acres of lands without proper deeds.
Exactly.
So what I did was, through NVQ, through my experience, I did an MBA with Northampton University. I'm proud to say that.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, if you have done up to O-level, maybe A-level, don't worry. Through your experience, you can get your academic qualification one day. And some people can get a driving license, but he can't drive. If you are an entrepreneur, if you work, you hard, and you know how to drive, you know the ups and downs, you know how to take a bend, you know how to reverse the car, how to do everything, then you get a license and you are qualified.
Okay, we are heading to the last 5 minutes of the time allocated. If you have any questions, we are waiting for your questions, and we are ready to answer any question very briefly and make it very subjective. And winding up what Mr. Nilan said, we are all Sri Lankans. Like when you say Sri Lanka, we belong to Sri Lanka, and we are all Sri Lankans. Right? I think I got it from, actually I absorbed this word from Nilan when I was speaking to him last week. Right? Basically, everyone looks at the waterfall at the end when it's coming down. But behind the waterfall, right? Behind every waterfall, it is the ulpat. Exact word he said. It is the small ulpat which is coming from upstream of waterfall, and then they create the waterfall. Right? Similarly, very similar. I think I was very touched with that example when he mentioned about ulpat and waterfall. Right? It opens my mind. It is the same thing that we are talking about entrepreneurship, and it is the same thing that we are talking about skills, and especially when it comes to tourism. Right? And when we come to Sri Lankan tourism or Sri Lanka and tourism, it's all about the ulpat. Right? It's all about you contributing little bit. And the ulpat becomes continuous, sustainable. It can't dry. It can podi prashna වලදී ඒක වහන්න බෑ. ඒක දිගටම improve වෙන්න ඕනේ. And together, that Sri Lankan tourism will become a major attractive waterfall coming out of the rock and falling and creating the mist and the water and the beauty and everything. So the world will come to us. I mean, still literally to see the waterfall. The waterfall is being created by small ulpat. Maybe like Nilan 20-30 years ago, couple of decades ago. Maybe the one that you are behind the camera watching through the system, right? You will become ulpat, and we all can create a beautiful Sri Lanka tourism, which we'll be proud of one day that we have done our responsibility to our mother Lanka. So since there is no question, I'm taking this time to thank Mr. Nilan Wickramasinghe for coming here, and with I would say rather psychologically busy time for every entrepreneur in the tourism industry, but he has taken time for you guys to tell something about his experience, and I'm very much glad for the NITA, the Nilantha, and the crew for getting us this studio and all the aspects done. And I should thank Samanthi and the board of directors of TISC, and also anyone who wants to be in contact with us. Of course, you can contact the TISC, Tourism Industry Skill Council. We from the private sector and together with the public sector, we are willing to contribute for your future growth through the skills development. So with that, I wind up, and thank you very much for your time, and please be in touch, and let's contribute together to the Sri Lankan mother. Thank you. Ayubowan.